Hello everyone, day 98 of my 100-day practice challenge. Welcome back. So today I am addressing Jasmine's question that she's asking for her friends who have performances coming up. It is about how to practice to prevent performance anxiety. So performance anxiety is a topic that I'm writing my book on right now based on my own 15-year battle with it. I'm loosely basing it on my doctoral dissertation, which was on the genesis of memorization as a piano performance practice. So why do we play without the music? And I had to look into a lot to the establishment of performance practice and concert format as we know it today. And I think I have some answers. So first, to conquer something, you have to know what it is that you're dealing with. Performance anxiety is your body mistaking it for a life-threatening situation. So, there are different symptoms, like your mouth gets dry, you have a diarrhea, or you may vomit, or you may feel like you will. And that's because, your body is thinking that you may have to fight or flight in an instant, reacting to a stimuli. And so it will shut down everything that is not necessary for your survival. So your digestive system shuts down. That's why your mouth gets dry. That's why you may vomit or have a diarrhea, to get rid of the excess, whatever is in your internal organs. Your hands or your feet may get cold. That's because your blood is being focused onto your vital organs, and also organs that require you to run as fast as you can. It's also to prevent blood loss in case you get a cut in your extremities, and what's the other, like your heart pumps to prepare you to start running as fast as you can, things like this, shortness of breath, everything. Your body is basically trying to help you survive. But concerts, even though it may sometimes feel like it is life-threatening, it is not, right? Everybody knows that. And so you just have to tell your body, this is not a life-threatening situation. Thank you so much for trying to protect me, but I am okay. But it's easier said than done. So some people take beta blockers. The problem with that, there too, is that psychological dependency, and also that I've never taken it, so I cannot speak for its effect, but from what I've read, it makes you feel like you're sort of detached emotionally from the process of music making. That's a shame. And so there are other things that you can do: meditation, exercise, cardiovascular exercises, and also things like yoga are proven to be helpful to performance anxieties. And also there are like eye movements. So like you follow your finger, you focus on very, very specific tasks to get your mind off whatever it is that's scaring you. I think for me, what helped was to say different things, like mantras, like it's just music. I used to say that. It's just music. It's not that I'm denigrating what I'm about to do, but it's not life-threatening. And nobody else's life depends on it either. I used to say, nobody's gonna die if I miss a note. I used to say that too. And I used to say, just do your job. Like when I'm playing and I start feeling myself getting really nervous or something, I say, just do your job. Just do your job. Just do your job. It is a job for me, but we also have a task at hand, and in that sense, whether you're getting paid or not, it is a job. And also to not think of it like it is about you. It is about the music. It is about the audience. It's about the audience. It's about communication, what goes on between you and the audience, you and the composer, but it is not about you. And some things that other people have said to me have helped me too. Like one person said that Music is like a dish, a delicious dish. And the chef might say that, you know, this ingredient wasn't quite right, or the sauce didn't come out quite right, or whatever. You know, he may be very, very fussy, but whoever eats it enjoys it because it's food, right? And it's music. It is supposed to be enjoyed. It's not supposed to be listened to critically. And that's the other thing. So now I am talking about the performance practice and the standards, performance standards and concert format. So in the 19th century, music became a very serious business, and composers were canonized. They became like the oracles, and the performers were denigrated to the position of orators. And then so missing a note became sort of a sin, right? Or messing up, God forbid, right? But before the composers were canonized, for various reasons that I won't go into right now, music was supposed to exist only when it was being played. And the hierarchy between the composers and the performers were that the performers were more, you know, because without the performer, the music won't exist, right? So the performers were more important, and, you know, we had all sorts of liberties to improvise on the written music, or sometimes improvise completely. You know, the written music was like a recipe to a dish. You could do whatever you want with it. Why not? And so knowing that history would, I think, help you. The other thing you can do is to force yourself to smile, force yourself to relax, force yourself to like act as though you're not nervous. And then, because, you know, when you're smiling, you're not nervous, and so the opposite would happen, like Pavlov's dog. So if you smile, if you force yourself to smile, then your muscles relax, and then you relax, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, now musically, how do you prepare yourself so that you won't have performance anxiety? Be as specific as you can in your interpretation, especially the beginnings of pieces. So, like, for example, I said this in my previous videos, but for example, for the Schubert Sonata, the first movement, so it starts with repeated notes. Sorry. And then I consider this two repeated chords, like the word mama. And the three repeated notes is tap, tap, tap that I told you about. So if you had the exact sound in your ears and image, who is singing this? Is this a group of people, or is this one person? And what are they saying? What is the context? How do you feel? Is it cold? Is it warm? You know, is it like, is there a scene, or is this like inner thought? If you're as specific as you can be, is this a color? Is this taste? Is this, you know, does this remind you of something? Does this remind you of somebody's voice, for example? Or, you know, are you a character, for example? Are you a goddess trying to communicate a message to humanity, but they won't listen? Or, like, you know, like something very, very specific. Story, character, taste, any kind of senses, words, anything that can bring you to that space instantly would help. Another example. So that's the fourth movement of the Schubert. So my mission is to, all the repeated notes, I won't play them the same ever. So I change fingerings, I do all sorts, I change touch, I'm listening, I'm shaping, I'm, you know, like I'm trying to find meanings out of these three note repeated notes. And if so, this kind of relates to the previous video that I did yesterday. How do you get yourself as quickly into the world of music or the sound world that each piece represents to you as quickly as you can, so that you won't have room in the space to be like, oh, you know, is the note going to come out right? Or, you know, is the audience going to like me? Or, you know, am I going to make a mistake? Like, none of that. None of that. It's not necessary. It's actually distracting, right? And we all know it. But, you know, it just happens. But if we don't give that voice a space to come into because we're so busy enjoying, that's the most important thing. If you can get yourself to enjoy. And how do you enjoy? Be as specific as you can about what you want to communicate with the music. That works for me. Okay, now I made a mistake and I smiled. That became sort of a reflex for me. And, you know, I trained myself to do that because of what I said earlier about when your face is smiling, you relax, right? And it's not a big deal. Nobody's going to die. As long as you have the music clearly in your head and that the mistake won't throw you off, it's okay. And even if the mistake threw you off, that's okay too. I used to feel extremely guilty about, you know, especially like, you know, when the audience had bought tickets to come hear me play and I make a mistake, and I would feel this terrible, like, feeling of guilt about not having delivered what the composer wrote literally, right? And sometimes that pressure, that horrible feeling would make my mistakes worse. And sometimes I'd have memory slips and it was horrible. I used to have diarrhea every time I had to play, and sometimes I vomited, and it was, I know how hard it is. But I don't have it anymore to the extent that I used to, and I think that's because I was able to forgive myself. So the concerts where I actually forgot and stood up in the middle of the piece and apologized or whatever, I gave the audience a memorable experience, and I never walked out on them. I never stood up in mid-piece and just abandoned them. I always finished my piece, sometimes very, very rough. My hands are shaking uncontrollably, and sometimes I could barely finish it, but I always did. And whether they see a human drama of triumph, or whether they think that, oh, you know, like, why did I spend $20 on that concert? That's their choice. I did the best I could, and nobody can ask more than that from a performer. We're all humans, and we have to forgive ourselves. Anyways, so I'm going to write a book about this, and I wonder if you would be willing to pay for it. I want to share my story. I think the world can benefit from it. We'll just have to see. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.